for ultimately the buck stops with me. As president, I have a solemn responsibility to protect our nation and our people. And when the system fails, it is my responsibility.
We have made steady progress on these fronts, but we're not making progress fast enough. And what I continue to believe is that ultimately the buck stops with me. I'm going to be accountable.
I ultimately take responsibility for solving this crisis. I'm the president, and the buck stops with me.
Oh, well, how times have changed. Now, that was the president promising you, the American people, time and time again that the buck stops with him. But today, while Obamacare, the cornerstone of his domestic policy agenda, is failing, that is clearly not the case. And the president is yet to take responsibility for his mess. Instead, what we're seeing is constant excuses and then liberals running to the defense of the anointed one. Now, just yesterday, one of the Obamacare architects, who just happens to be the brother of former Obama chief of staff, Rambo Deadfish Emanuel, he had this to say on Fox News Sunday.
The law does not say Sears drop coverage. Sears decides what's good for Sears. The law doesn't say to the insurance industry, you drop coverage. The insurance industry decides how it's going to make money. When the private companies decide that they're going to drop people or put them in the exchange, you blame President Obama. He is not responsible for that.
If you like your plan, you can keep your plan, period. Here with reaction to this and much more, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Period is kind of like no qualifiers, no caveats. You know, period is period, right?
Well, and he's exactly wrong. He says it's the insurance companies. No, it's the legislation. The legislation says very specifically, if you had your insurance before Obamacare, and if it's never changed, you can keep it. But if you've had it and now it's changed at all, you have to take Obamacare. You get 4 choices, whereas you might have had hundreds of choices before. Under Obamacare, you only get 4 choices, and you're being dumped. In my state, nearly 10 times more people have lost their insurance than have gained any insurance, and that Kentucky's supposed to be the success case they're all touting, and 10 times more people have actually lost their insurance in Kentucky.
Yeah, listen, the Daily Caller actually found quotes from all these red state Democrats, from Mary Landrieu to Mark Begich, Jeanne Shaheen, Mark Pryor, Kay Hagan, all of them saying the exact same thing. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. You think that that plays a part in the 2014s?
Absolutely. And here's the great irony. You remember the government shutdown we went through about a month ago? The Democrats refused to open up government because we wanted to delay the individual mandate 1 year because we all said it wouldn't work. And they refused to do it, and they wouldn't open the government back up. Now a half a dozen or more of them have changed their mind and say, we probably should delay the individual mandate. And the president's already delayed it 6 weeks. My prediction is they're going to need to delay it more because I don't think they're going to be able to fix this in 6 months.
You know, 2 reports came out this weekend, one from CBS News, the other from the Wall Street Journal. The White House, one White House insider warned 3 years ago that all of this would happen. Nobody seemed to care. They had all of the numbers 3 years ago about what would happen. And also, White House aides 3 years ago were debating whether or not the president's lying. They knew. I think that bothers me more than anything, is that the president and his team knew that all these Americans, millions of Americans, would lose their coverage. What does that mean to you?
Well, you know, I think it comes down to this. I think government is inherently inefficient. The other side thinks government can do anything. They have this great faith that government can fix any problem. And the way I see it is the private marketplace is miraculous in distributing goods because they have to have a profit motive. Government doesn't have a profit motive, so government's not very good at most things. And so you don't want to give government new responsibilities. Another good way to look at this in simple terms is Medicare was already $35 trillion short. Why would we want to add new mandates and new entitlement program when we can't even fund the one we have?
You know, last week the number that we had was 93 million Americans will lose the current insurance that they have. Daily Caller cited a story that shows that the estimate is about 129 million Americans are going to lose their insurance. That is a far cry from what the president promised. What if that? What?
I was going to say, you know what that number probably equals? Everybody with individual insurance or small business insurance. Because if your plan ever changes, it's no longer eligible. And they usually change the plan just a little bit each year. Any kind of change to a plan makes it ineligible, and you have to get Obamacare. So really, when he said you could keep your doctor, it's the opposite. No one's going to keep their doctor. No one with an individual plan will still have it within a few years. And then the question